Give me, you can just shout out from your seat. What are some leadership qualities? What are some qualities or something you see in a leader? Integrity. Patience, integrity, punctuality, patience, humbleness, commitment, strength,
Dedication.
dedication. All right. We'll start with that. As we look at being a servant leader, and we begin to look at leadership. Being a leader, you need to know how to be a follower. So we've all seen people who want to go and they want to lead. Why do they want to lead? Because they don't want to follow nobody. I don't want to have to listen to you. I don't want to have to submit to you. I don't have to follow your plan because my plan is going to be better. So, fellowship comes before leadership. Jesus taught this principle. The way to greatness is humility. The way up is down. Take the low seat that they may invite you to the high seat. You have to learn how to follow a leader in order to lead. You have to know what it's like to submit. You have to know what it's like to be a part of the group. Somebody is, always trying to find a way to lead. Well, nobody stepped up, so I stepped up. Or they didn't know how to do it, so I jumped in. Well, no, you just haven't learned how to follow yet. So, being a servant leader, the first thing we have to know is how to follow. We have to be able to follow someone else. And in any system, those who are leading are also following. In leadership, we have to be able to have the quality of hard work. Hard work. The only place where success comes before work is the dictionary. The Bible speaks to us about the sluggard, the slothful, the hesitant, those who simply cannot or will not move forward. Some people are like the mule, the donkey that walked backwards instead of going forward. Author John Maxwell said, leadership is production, not position. And we have to understand that because some people just want positions. They just want the title, or they want people coming to serve them, but they don't want the production. But that's not true leadership. True leadership is about the production. If you are a leader and you are producing nothing, then you're just hanging out. If you are a leader and no one's following, then you are just walking alone. Leadership requires production. What's happening with what you're over? Where is it going with what you're leading? Leadership requires the proper attitude. Two men are in jail behind the bars, and they see two different things. One of them looks down, and they see the dirt and the mud. The other one looks up, and they see the stars in the sky. They're in the same place, but their attitude will help to show the aptitude that will determine their altitude. How far they're going to go comes with the attitude. If we don't have the proper attitude in leadership, it rubs off. It affects others. And it also affects the production of what we're trying to do. Amen. The Bible says, as a man thinketh in his heart, so is he. It's Henry Ford that says, whether you think you can or think you can't, you're right. Sometimes we can find ourselves defeated before we start. I was coaching a fourth grade basketball team, and I was talking to a couple of the kids, and I asked one of them, I said, if we're at the end of the game and I need you to take the shot, do you think you can make the shot? The answer was no. And I said, well, you don't need to take the shot then. If you don't think you're going to be able to do it, then we don't need you trying to stand there to do it. Because you already have doubt in your mind. And if you have doubt, and you have fear, and you have worry, you didn't pray enough. You didn't fast enough. You didn't read it. Because God has not given us a spirit of fear. All things are possible with God. So now we begin to read and know who he is, then we should have that same mindset. You see, Vince Lombardi said, winning isn't everything, but making the effort to win is. A pessimistic person is a person who, regardless of what's going on in the present, is disappointed already about the future. So we have to have the right attitude in leadership. In leadership, you need to set goals. If you're over the cleaning department, if you're over the nursery class, if you're over the Sunday school, if you're over whatever department, what goals do you have? Because if you're just trying to ride out what has already been established, then you aren't bringing anything in leadership to where you are. It doesn't matter how large, it doesn't matter how small, but there needs to be some type of goal in where you are. That's part of leadership, setting goals. Whether it's weekly, monthly, quarterly, annually. Attendance goals. Maybe it's for, hey, can we get 100% for who's already in the class? Maybe it's attendance goals, can we double the class? But there should be some type of goals, some object of the future to where we're trying to go. What is the objective? And then we have to make an honest effort to reach it. So don't tell me, and you got a class of 2 people, and by next week you want 5,000. There's no honest effort for that. So you have to make a goal that is reasonable, and there's an honest effort in order to complete it and reach it. Choose a goal and stick with it. Paul says, this one thing I do, not 50. This one thing I do, I press toward the mark. Hebrews speaks of Jesus, and it says, who for the joy that was set before endured the cross. He endured the cross because he knew the joy that was going to come out of the cross. So in order to be able to suffer, you got to understand the joy that's going to lie ahead. You're able to put in the work and the time when you see what lies ahead. We have to understand that there's a future going on in leadership. If we are in a Christian education department and it's dying out, it's because now we haven't set any goals. We have just showed up and just looked to see what's going to happen. But we haven't put any production. We haven't set any goals. We haven't reached out. You're not waiting for the superintendent to give you a class. You're there to help build the class. Amen. So in your neighborhood, your co-workers, your relation, your family, you should be trying to build what's there. Someone said, if a man knows not what harbor he seeks, any wind is the right wind. If you don't know what direction you're trying to go, you'll just fall any direction. Heard them earlier talk about false prophets, and we have to understand in today's time, as they look about the Black Israelites and the 3%, and you have the Masons and all these different theologies and things that are out there, and people that just go along with any wind, anything that sounds good, that looks good. Amen. But you have to know what direction. And it's up to the leadership, and this is a mistake we make sometimes, to help let the people understand the direction, understand what's going on in the class. And I would be interested to know, do you ask your class things to try to make sure they understand it? Or that they understand what we believe in? Or are you just flowing through the lesson? Because if we are raising children to come up, they need to understand what they believe in. So, they know. No, they don't just know. We talk and we say things and we say, oh, the church is going on fast. But do they understand the facts? So it's up to us to make sure in all thy getting, get an understanding. That they have an understanding. You're going to have children grow up in the church and have no idea what they believe. With leadership, your leadership is different than any secular leadership. Because your leadership should require faith. I'm saying to you that God should challenge you at times to lead in a way that almost seems impossible to you. That just like when the children of Israel came to the Red Sea, God told Moses, this is the way you go. God leads Moses to the Red Sea. God takes Moses to a place that is impossible. How are we going to get across this sea? Your leadership should be challenged to exercise faith. That you look and say, Lord God, this is what you said we're going to do. That you need to build up and understand, okay, I got it now, Lord. This is something that seems impossible. But I know with you, Lord, it's possible. You should be challenged in your faith. You shouldn't do things just because they're easy, but in your leadership, something needs to come along that requires faith. Good leadership qualities. We need to be loyal. Loyalty sometimes is lost in leadership. Loyal to the brotherhood, loyal to the women, loyal to the church, loyal to the ministers, loyal to the deacons, loyal. Even when you don't understand everything, but that you're loyal. I'm not saying that you're going to just blindly follow, but I'm asking you to have loyalty. And I mean that as a leader, you will never be a grumbler and complainer. Should I close out right now? It's easy. Oh, I don't know why they did it like that. Oh, wow. Can you believe? That makes no sense at all. That's not loyalty. Leadership is not only about leading, but now it's also about you not being a grumbler and complainer. We can learn a story, a lesson from Moses. Moses worked so hard for the children of Israel. Moses loved God and spent time with God, and his countenance was changed. Moses pleaded on behalf of the people. But Moses also came down off the mountain, saw the people out partying, having a good time, making idols and all that stuff, threw down the tablets in anger. And God said, okay, go back up. Go up that mountain and get another set. Moses is upset when they're asking in the wilderness, oh, we had fish in Egypt. Oh, the meat that we had. How great slavery was. Yeah, they forgot about some of that. See, sometimes you forget about the bad experiences. And you go, we want to go back. No, you don't really want to go back. And he strikes the rock. And God says, you won't see the promised land. We have to be careful in how we lead was God's. You grumbling and complaining about losing your class. You grumbling and complaining that they didn't come on time. You grumbling and complaining that they're not paying attention. You grumbling and complaining and all this stuff. But that's not your job. Your job is to lead the people, not complain about the people. Your job is to encourage the people, not dog out the people. Your job is to be a blessing to the people, not a curse to the people. So we have to be mindful as leaders. We have to get out of ourselves grumbling and complaining about doing the job. If I asked you to take me somewhere and I complain all the way there, you think, well, why are we going? If you're going to complain about it. Why are you serving if you're going to complain about it? In being a leader, we need to be enthusiastic. We need to be excited. We need to be able to act out our excitement. Because if you are not excited about the lesson that you are teaching, you need to go back and rework the lesson. If you are excited about getting up and coming to teach, you got to go back. If you, oh man, I got to go to church this morning. Oh, I just want to sleep in today. Now, I'm not going to say you can't ever have a moment. But when it's every moment, then you need to have a talk with God and see, is this your area of ministry? Oh, man. I got to get my mind right to go in. You need to be enthusiastic. Enthusiasm is faith in action. It's contagious. It isn't our position that we are in, but it's our disposition that makes us happy. If you are looking for your position to make you happy, you're going about it the wrong way. Come on. Your disposition will make you happy. That's why money don't make people happy. Come on. Cars don't make people happy. People don't make people happy. If you aren't happy to begin with, nothing's going to make you happy. Oh, you'll have a temporary moment, but it won't sustain it. But you have to be able to embrace and hold on to the position and the place that God has given you. You see, diamonds are nothing more than chunks of coal that are stuck to their jobs. We have to be mindful of the people that we are ministering to. That's right. People, church folk are like this and church folk are like that and this and that. Just like we said before, the hospital has sick people. But that's not a reason why you don't go to it. So yes, the church has some people that are nasty. The church has some backbiters. The church has some liars. The church has some thieves. The church has some unhappy people. But that's the place they're supposed to be. And if you thought you were supposed to come into the place and everything was going to be perfect and everybody's going to be happy and everything was going to be right in place, God don't need you. He wants to use you to help the people in their situation. We have to be mindful that there's a service that we're supposed to do. You are the trash collector. Don't complain about the trash. That's what you're supposed to do. Now, looking at those leadership qualities, I want to touch now at the servant leader. The servant leader. As I began to look at this, God began to take me down a path of what kind of servant are you? So when we look at servant leadership is the leadership philosophy of the main goal is to serve the people. The philosophy is to serve. This is different from traditional leadership, where the leader's main focus is to thrive for something else. But here, the leadership's main goal is to serve the people, their needs first, to help them also develop and grow. But what kind of servant are you? There's the bond servant. There's the hired servant. There's the good and faithful servant. And there's the slave. What kind of servant are you? You see, there are people who are servant leaders, but they're the wrong servant leader. We see it in politics, we see it in the church. They're there for the community. They're there for the people. But the higher servant leader is about the pay. It's about what I'm going to get. I'm here to get something. Oh yeah, I'll serve you, but I need you to know I'm hired. And if the money's not right, or what I'm looking for, sometimes is accolades, and sometimes it's the position and so forth. And if I'm not finding myself getting what I feel I want or deserve, I'm out. There's the bond servant who is there to pay off a debt. So now we are serving God. But I'm just serving him because I owe him. I'm serving him because he died on the cross. I'm serving him because he saved my mother. I'm serving him because of something that now I'm trying to pay off. So I'm the bond servant. I'm indebted. So now my service is the wrong service. It's not really out of my heart. It's out of I feel I owe you. So if I feel I owe you and I'm trying to pay something off, my heart's not in it. I'm just trying to reach a payoff. And how many people are serving God just trying to reach a payoff, or serving God out of guilt? There's the slave servant. That person serves because they don't have no choice. And that's the person that's in church, or that's the person that's serving. Either maybe somebody made them serve, or they feel that they just have to do it, but they're serving and they don't see a way out, and it's just something that I gotta do, and this is what I do, but my heart's not in it. I have no way out. I have no passion about it. I'm just enslaved to this. I'm stuck here. Then there's the good and faithful servant. And I like to combine this with basically the servant of God. The servant of God. We have to understand we are serving God. And God is asking us to serve his people. Moses is looked at as a servant of God, servant of Elijah, the servant of Elohim. He is the servant of God. As we put things in perspective now, I am a servant of God, and God is asking me to serve the people. Then now I don't look and say, those are my people. Because we get a problem when we put that ownership on it. That's mine. No. I'm serving God. And God is asking me to serve his people. That way, when the people do something, I'm not being out of shape because God, those are your people. Come on, we got to put it in perspective. Somebody acting crazy? Lord, that's yours. You know, parents do that sometimes. Oh, that's your child. Oh, they all yours right now. But we have to put that perspective. And in our service, we've been talking about stewardship. Yeah. We have what God allows us to have to watch over, but in the end, it's his. And that way, when you realize it's his, you won't mistreat his. The servant of God. This service to God, the church doesn't have volunteers. We have those that are serving God. I'm not asking you to volunteer for anything. It has to be out of service to God. You shouldn't feel that you're doing the church a favor, because you're not doing the church a favor. If you're doing it out of doing a favor, you're serving the wrong way. But when you serve God, you'll be able to serve with excellence and your best in the proper perspective because it's to God. Here's the problem that we have, as I mentioned the other service. Some people are serving out of obligation. Some people are serving because they want something out of it. Some people are serving because they feel they have no choice. Well, here's the thing. You can never repay God. And God doesn't want you to be obligated as if it's a burden to do something for him. So it's like this. Your parents have raised you. They have poured into you. They have done so many things for you through the years. And then later in life, they come into a time in which they need you and they ask you, hey, can you help me or can you do this for me? And you go to help them or serve them or take care of them in some type of way because you're grateful for all they've done. You're not trying to repay what they did because you'll never repay them. You're not trying to do it because, oh, well, that's my mom, well, that's the wrong attitude. But out of gratitude, I appreciate what you have done through the years. I appreciate the time in which you stayed up with me when I was sick. I appreciate you making sure that my clothes were together. I appreciate that you made sure I learned things, that I knew things. You poured so much into me. I just appreciate what has been done. And that's our service of God. I'm a servant of God because I appreciate what he's done. And out of the willingness of my heart, I now want to serve you. When we look at these servant leaders, look at Joseph. Joseph is given a dream. And he's he's given the future in order to save his own people. And those around him are resentful of his position before he even has the position. So what Joseph does all along the way is he serves. Joseph's service is a service of leadership. He's leading in the household. He's leading in the jail cell. He's leading when he gets to Pharaoh's house. Joseph leads through family issues. You got to lead through some family issues. You can't, oh no, I quit, I'm done, I can't deal with this, I can't handle it. No, he leads through his family issues. He leads through his life issues. He leads through his personal issues. He leads through the betrayal that happened in the jail cell. Oh, we'll remember you and forgot all about you. He leads through the false accusation of Potiphar's wife that said, oh no, he tried to sleep with me. He leads through it all. He remains motivated. He remains intact. He remains faithful. He remains dedicated. He remains with integrity through it all. Eliezer, the servant of Abraham, when Abraham had no children, before Abram had any children and was told by God that he was going to have to receive the promise, Eliezer is the one to receive the inheritance of Abraham. He's going to receive all that he has. And when he finds out later that now Abram's going to have children, he has a child and so forth, all through his life we see a faithful servant. He's eager, he's willing, and he's faithful. He goes and he finds Rebekah. He goes and he travels. He goes and he does whatever Abram asked him to do. We see this faithfulness in Jesus. Jesus comes and he serves. Jesus comes here and he's a leader. He is teaching like they've never seen a teacher teach before. He is healing like they've never seen before. He raises the dead. And what does he do in all of this? He says, let me wash your feet, my disciples. He serves. And he leads. And this brings me, I'm going to touch you and then I got to close out. Let's get scripture. 1 Kings chapter 1. 1 Kings chapter 1. No, let me change that for the sake of time. Let's go to 1 Samuel. Let's go to 1 Samuel. 1 Samuel chapter 22. 1 Samuel chapter 22. In 1 Samuel chapter 22, verse number 7, 1 Samuel chapter 22, verse number 7, then Saul said unto his servant that stood about him, hear